What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to go over the Ghost of Yotei State of Play. We'll watch it probably at a faster speed, and we'll kind of pick apart the details that I feel like are relevant and something I want to talk about. Overall, I enjoyed it. I think this is a sequel that, we've gotten a couple of these PlayStation sequels where, yes, they take a lot of time, and not necessarily defending it, by the way, but, they're sequels in not reinventing the wheel kind of way, right? They are very, very similar to the first game, but they make improvements here and there, and we've really gotten that. God of War, Spider-Man, I would say Death Stranding 2, even with Kojima, is a good example of a game that doubles down on what the first game does, makes the improvements, is maybe a better game to some, or it's better in some areas than the first game to some people, and that's generally how this goes. I was impressed by this Ghost of Yotei thing, and honestly, it was pretty much what I thought it was going to be. This is my most anticipated game of the fall, and it's looking like it's going to be really, really fun, and I can't wait to jump in. So there's my cold open. Let's go through this state of play. Okay, so once again, we're going to go sound off. We'll look at the captions in case there's anything that I forget that's brought up, but sound off just so YouTube can't pull any of its classic YouTube stuff. Here we go. We'll start it kind of at 2x speed because right now is more of the ambiance, more of the look. To be honest with you, it kind of starts right away with like, oh yeah, like you feel like you're back, and you also say, I forgot just how freaking good mainly the environment looks. We're going to see this throughout the entire state of play. There is some just really amazing colors. I love the purple and just the bright kind of stuff that's popping up, but we get right back into the world, and I think this looks really, really visually beautiful. So they kind of start a little bit with her background, which we had heard before, right? So remember, taking a little inspiration from Sly Cooper there, you have the Yotei 6 here, you see, right? So in Sly, remember, it's Fiendish 5. That makes its way over here to the Yotei 6. Familiar, we just got this really with Assassin's Creed in that way. They obviously took out her family. And I think we find out technically this new info right now, I guess for the first time in this state of play, that we're going to be able to relive the memories, but you're going to be able to do it, and they say it's with a click of a button, so they'll eventually show it. We'll try to pause or get to that point, but you see like walking, and then they're gonna click, bam. I mean, first thing that I look at, by the way, just look at those colors, right? Like yellow. I'm not an outdoors guy. I don't really go outside much, but it looks so freaking beautiful. The wind. But this is the first time we really, I think, found out this part. Like, we knew the background of her and what happened to her family and why she's going after these 6. But to be able to do this and go back and forth, just wonder how limiting or unlimited, I guess, this is, because it literally say, by giving you the freedom, you're going to be able to look back into her past. I imagine it's just like select missions, right? We'll be able to go back and forth. We get to see even, that's a freaking beautiful shot, by the way, right? Then kind of classic Ghost of Tsushima riding through there. Just see a couple nice shots. I'll say it takes the state of play a little bit, in order to get into like what we're actually doing minute to minute. Although this part is kind of important. So, and I think this will come back with the gameplay elements. It's talking about that as she gets more powerful and as you do more stuff, the world kind of unlocks with you. They talk about like new dangerous foes that'll start to inhabit the world that you'll be able to track and stuff the more powerful you get. So I really, really like that. This is when they say that you're going to be able to basically do things in whatever order you want. We had heard about this before, right? Again, this should sound familiar. This is a little bit of Assassin's Creed-like. You're going to be able to take out, sounds like, these targets in whatever order that you want, or do side stuff. Again, some of these just scenic views are freaking awesome. That was our first look at gameplay. They're going to do a more deeper dive. I won't pause there. We'll kind of get back to it. So this is their card system, or they say clue system there. This is where you're going to be learning and basically like filling out like the investigation board. This is where they're talking about like when you take out a target, you'll be able to question them on different elements or different things in the world, and it'll bring you to them, right? You're going to be basically filling out that investigation board based off which one you do. You see 1, 2, 3. Middle one seems like a little bit more exploration, right? Things of like studying things, finding, hidden enemies and whatnot. First one sounded like those gold ones, right? All these gold ones. They seem to be more like story oriented, and the other 2 seem to be not so much. This is where they say that as you progress against them, her legend is going to grow, and you're basically going to unlock more things. We get a nice little cutscene. Now, this is definitely the beginning of the game, by the way, because I'm pretty sure she's about to say, or he says, like, what you looking for? Are you lost? I'm looking for some old friends, the Yotei 6. So this has to be, you know, you imagine it would show a little bit of like what happens to her as a kid, and then it's going to fast forward to something around, you know, that element. This is saying that she has the bounties, but you can also take bounties on other people. So, you know, it seems like you're going to have, like, the collectibles, the shrines. I think they'll show, like, the bamboo strike things again, which are freaking awesome. Bounties. So you're going to have, like, your range of side activities to do. Again, they show combat. They don't show too much. This looks just very familiar right now. Which is okay, by the way. The combat looking familiar, I think, is kind of an okay thing because the combat was so freaking good. This, I think, is just them showing off because of just the color situation going on there. We keep going, and then we see a little bit of a duel. The end of a duel, I would say. Actually, the very, very end. We predicted this on the live stream that they would show at least part of a duel. Classic sliding down things. Now this is, I will say this is where it just becomes very familiar. This is actually even where like the environment doesn't look too different than what we've seen previously. But, you know, and here's the thing, like I guess if there's one thing I would look at here and to make note of is that kind of floatiness of the movement, which, remember, it's kind of classic them. Think about how Cole moves and stuff in Infamous. Actually, I want to pause here. Think about how Cole moves in Infamous, and then you see how Jin moves in this. And even going back to Sly Cooper, the characters, when they do the parkouring, have like a floaty, kind of airy like transition to them. So, you know, this one, I remember seeing this during the live stream, and I thought, okay, let me pause here, you know, when we do this video. So attacks, assassination, and survival. So I mean, there's not much you can look at in terms of the picture. You got the perfect parry there over on the right. Actually, I love this screen. Like, you see her, and like the hair kind of goes into this flashy kind of, like, here's what it's going to look like. Disarm enemies. And will they show this right away? The disarming thing looks freaking awesome. Looks freaking awesome. I think we'll get there eventually. It's not going to rush you through anything. You can choose. Again, this is choosing your own order. There's a little bit of a scouting thing. The first game did not have, like, a spyglass, I don't believe, right? It's been a while. I'm going to replay the first game in, honestly, like a month and a half to get ready for this game. And this is cool, by the way. In the stream, bottom left, flower streams will give her a boost. That's freaking, I mean, look at this picture. But, I mean, this is where I think Ghost of Tsushima it becomes Ghost of Tsushima. Such amazing freaking colors. And then on top of that, being able to speed up just by walking through flowers, right? More scenic things, my dear God. Then mini games. So you got the bamboo cutting, some coin thing, you know, some baths there. That's all pretty sweet as well. Interesting that they kind of do a rapid fire, you know, with that part where it's like, you know, those are going to be things you imagine are just kind of scattered throughout the world. Okay, now we get the combat stuff. So we get, I believe, the classes, which aren't really, I mean, you can call them classes, I guess. They're more of just like her weapons. So katana, spear, I don't know how to pronounce it. Odachi, I think is how you pronounce the sword. All look really cool, by the way. That long sword that they're going to use later on in this thing, Jesus. If you had that in real life, that would be quite the sword. That's excessive, by the way, cutting off that guy's arm. Don't know if she needed to do that, but it's cool. Waterfalls are always cool. So this is what I was waiting for, by the way, is just a little bit of a walking into an area. I'm really glad that they did this back with Ghost of Tsushima, so it's really cool to do it here. There's always a lot of wind in their games, so I appreciate that. So we see here at least a little bit of like a long-range takedown. Love it. Well, I guess it is actually a takedown. I was going to say she pulls him and he drops, but I guess the finishing move is part of that. So we see this here. Looks like just picking up kind of random weaponry off the ground. They talk about her being like a dirty fighter, so that's pretty cool. Then we get to see, I guess, our first really like collision. And this is where, again, like I would say, it's gonna look a little familiar, actually majorly familiar. But I mean, I don't know. For me, and again, I get it. You know, it's been 5 years. Maybe you want it to be overhauled a little bit. But I mean, to me, this is where it just has to be, I think, better than the first game. But very familiar, you know, because I don't know. It's just very flow. There's a flow to it, right? Her swapping weapons kind of on the fly like she is, the takedowns and whatnot. I mean, this was an insanely good element, you know, about the first game. Now, this is a cool thing there, too, right? So when there's that yellow mark, if you hit them, it seems like during that moment, you'll actually disarm them. And that first part is if you get hit when they have that yellow mark on, they'll actually disarm you. So that's pretty cool. pretty neat. This is where they kind of stress, different weapons for different enemies, which, the first game did it quite a bit. I think in this game, it seems like maybe more enemies will be able to swap weapons at you. If you remember, like, the first game, it was kind of like certain duels they would do that, like their stances would change, or you would have to adapt based off it, but it wasn't too often, so I wonder if that's going to play more of like the grunts, will have that in this one. So we see her marking this. Again, a little bit of like she's just walking into an area. And you see floatiness again, I would say, that we've come to know from Sly and Infamous and all of that jazz. Nice little three hits there. Bows, guns. That's, I think, the only time you see that. And then we see, again, like an actual duel, almost, I think, from start to finish here. Which just we'll obviously go a little bit faster. She uses different elements. He switches it up. Again, I just feel like this didn't... maybe I'll remind myself when I replay Ghost of Tsushima in a month, but I feel like enemies didn't swap weapons as much as I feel like they're going to in this one, right? And then again, this is where we kind of already saw this towards the beginning, right? Don't know if it would be like every enemy that you would get this, but... or like every major enemy, but that's where you would do that interrogation and you would find out, something else. And we see the wolf. We don't see it all that often, but I do like that they pull... they only do it once, but right here, we'll give it a second. Bam. Synchronized assassination. That's pretty freaking cool. That's really all they show. They don't really show the wolf all that much. I had a person that asked me about or was wondering about the wolf. Now, this is where I think we start to get more of like the systems, right? So the way they talk about this is like, this is a campfire that I feel like is going to move with you no matter where you go. And you basically, I think from the way they talk about it, it's a way to rest up, play the music, cook. And then they talk about like bringing the AI to you. Yeah, to help bring important characters and upgrades. So they're going to come to you, and this will go towards this part right here, which I think we need to spend a second on talking about. So they call this the Wolf Pack. Maybe we can skip a little bit. So they talk about that, like, now versus the first game, they're basically just reorganizing how the info gets brought to you. So number one, may I just say, huge group. And actually you can see right here, so I wonder if this is what it's going to look like, because this has got to be later on in the game, right? This is too many companions for her at the very beginning of the game to know. But you look like over here how it's all like in fog, or it's like behind them. So I imagine this is how they look like until you meet them, and then they're like this. But you see, when they have the bubbles that pop up, they each have something. So this one has a new upgrade. This one has a task. So it sounds like maybe the upgrade ones can be brought to you through the fireplace type thing. And then they'll bring up like an actual menu in a second. Has new gear. So like this one is like an actual objective, right? To return to his dojo on Owl Mountain and continue my training. And so when you click on them, number one, by the way, just amazing art style. I love, this almost like hand-drawn, the way the colors are. I think that's a really like just nice flair to it, to be honest with you. But, you click on it and then you have over here, it'll pop up, almost like foggy type thing, which I like that too. It'll pop up in the map. But I imagine that's only for the ones, that actually have the objective. Like that one, it said he has new techniques. This one says has new gear. Although, you know what? New gear, and it brings her up too. Set up camp. Set up camp and they will visit you. Oh, okay, so it seems like some of them, maybe to the ones that have the gear and stuff, right? They'll come. Did the guy... Let me just do this in real time. Let me just look really fast, because I wasn't, I guess, paying attention to that guy. Let's see. Oh, yeah, see, this is untrack object. So this one is like, it'll bring... You have to go to him. But the gear one and... Probably something where it's like they want to talk to you. That's where they would actually come to you. I just like that. That's a cool... See, that, by the way, is like a quality of life thing. You know what I mean? So that's something that I think is really cool. They'll come to you, and then the ones that have objectives, you'll go to them. And I feel like that would just declutter. Like, it wouldn't have the map be as full, right? Because they're all kind of in their own pocket. In the just a menu screen. And then when you click on them, then it shows the menu, right? Or the map, right? Okay, this is more customization, which, this was pretty deep in the base game. Like, I actually messed with this more often than I normally mess with it. I normally don't touch much of this, in games. Of course, the Sly Cooper skin, oh my dear God, you had to have that. If you didn't, I don't know what you were doing. But we see that, I guess, melee, range, quick fire. You see a bunch of, the things you can kind of carry with her. Your charms, your outfits. Just looks snazzy, just looks really nice. But the charms, I mean, these kind of things, I like this quite a bit. So then we just get some different looks. All look really nice. I don't know if I would do all of these. You know, once I find one that's like super cool, like that one had a little bit too much going on. That one looks nice. They're going to get to masks, I think, right now. Yeah, I mean, like the masks are very cool. These are scary masks. That one's a little crazy. And this, by the way, I actually was asked, or we talked about this in the live stream that somebody brought up, and it very much seems like we were onto it. Looks like you're probably going to be able to almost capture the masks of your opponents, right? When you take out an opponent, you'll get the mask and you'll be able to wear it. That's because masks in that era are just super cool. Not much you can say about this, especially when I don't have audio on, so that's my fault, but the music, the ambiance, I mean, I will say, again, like, you know, you look at those long distance kind of shots of the environments and stuff, and I mean, that's a huge, huge part of this franchise. By the way, that looks freaking awesome. More of them should have those kind of, not powers, but like elemental things, I guess, right? But I mean this, right? There's music going on, you know, in the background that we're not listening to, and that guy's so into it. You have to respect the grind there. Photo mode, love it. I love looking at people's photo mode things, like on Twitter and stuff. I'm not talented enough to do this myself. Nice little polar bear here. That's fun. I imagine that's not a pet. Imagine she just found that in the world. So this is interesting. I mean, this is pretty similar to past games, I guess, in their own franchise, and also just what we have in other games. So you have English in general. This one's an interesting one. Japanese dialogue with English subtitles. I might go with this one. I did not do that with the first game. I liked the English voice of Jin Sakai, but this entire thing right here is in Japanese, and this guy gives me some Majima vibes from Yakuza, if you know that franchise. Well, you should. It's an amazing one, but I might do this. I might do it. By the way, the fire in the background, Jesus. But no, I mean, it looks so good, and also if you were to listen to what they're saying, it does honestly sound really good as well. I might do it. I mean, I'm either going to... I always do subtitles just so I can, like, kind of read ahead of what they're saying. I would either do English with English subtitles or Japanese with English subtitles and just go from there. And then I think this is where I was hoping that they would once again do black and white, and they literally do say it's black and white. And this is so cool. You know, I don't know. I would never actually do this on the first go around. I know this is such a vibe, like, hence why they're doing it. And I mean, it's a classic, you know, it's a classic type style. And I understand why people like it, because that looks so good. I mean, like that freaking mountain, even right there. But I don't know, it's got so many colors. Like, I just want to kind of see the colors pop. Does that make sense? Like, to wash it out with black and white, again, it's going for its own vibe, but to not see the purple flowers just feels like, you know, what are you doing? What I would be doing, you know, in that situation. By the way, I thought my internet was crashing out when that happened. That was just the frame rate. If you watch this, they need to fix this part. And it's only one part. But man, oh, right there. You see that like pause as she like jabs him? Yeah, I thought that was my internet actually, but no, that's just the state of play. This was that enhanced blood mode. This is going to get demonetized on every YouTube thing if you play it like this, so just beware. But Jesus, I don't know if there's that much blood in a human body, but so you have that if you want to do that. And I think it said mud as well. And then you have this one. This one's in, I mean, I really like the colors that they're doing here, but this is that lo-fi track thing, which again, I don't think I would ever do this on the first go around. I feel like there's just something like I would want to play it differently, but I mean, okay. Beautiful, by the way. But no, I mean, lo-fi is great. I do like lo-fi music, but I don't think I would do that on the first go-around. But it's cool. I mean, that's an extra mode, you know, they're adding to it. And the lo-fi is a great opportunity to show these shots, by the way. Because this is good. I mean, this is where it looks really nice. Again, a little frame rate issues there. A couple other spots as well. They got to fix that. And I think that's it. I think they're about to just show the PlayStation, the skin, along with the controller. Which, I'll tell you, if this was it, this would also be fine. I'd give this like a 6 out of 10. There's something about the white and gold that I don't adore, but then they show this one. I think the black, like kind of sketch, it almost looks like they're kind of like rubbing it. I don't like how that feels, but I do like that. No, I actually think those colors work really well for it. And then just more beautiful, beautiful visuals. And they kind of go over just the ending of it. I mean, like I said, I like it. I personally think it looks familiar. This is what I was saying about Death Stranding 2. I actually made a video about Death Stranding 2 before the game came out, where I talked about, like, I feel like Death Stranding 2 is going to be familiar yet better. And that's really what it is. Like, it's, you know, having played Death Stranding 1, like, 2 weeks before Death Stranding 2, it's highly familiar, but, you know, it improves in so many areas. Some areas maybe not so much, but some areas it does. So I don't know, that's kind of what I'm thinking for Ghosts. Like, if this can just improve in some areas, and then honestly, like, the combat is probably going to be the most samey, but the combat kind of rocks, you know. There's not too much more you can do there. All right. I once again had fun, by the way, with the style. If you want me to do more breakdowns like this, I actually prefer doing it like this versus the other way. So we'll continue that. But let me know what you guys think in the comments about Ghost of Yotei. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed. I'll be covering this thing quite a bit. And I hope to see you all on the next one.